بالعلم بل بالأدب تنال أعلى الرتب فعش حياة العلماء وقرأ صنوف الكتب.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge and to guide us to learn and do what is pleasing to Him. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who kept us together for that long, and inshallah we'll continue this journey until we come up with clarity of the path. So today, the title is From Existence, as we said before, to Flourishing. From existing to flourishing. It has many chapters in it. And the number one, we look back to the journey from the start until now. And then, second, we analyze the present. Where are we and where we are advancing, where we are contributing, where we are heading, where we are lacking, where we are short of expectations and obligations. And then the third one is going to be the path. So it is the journey, the present, and then the path. The path means from here where we're gonna go and what road, what uh, means are going to take us to basically arrive to flourishing. And so quickly, number one, as we know, in the past, basically Muslims came here unwillingly and were forced to come, and the only things they have to keep what is left, even Iman, Quran, and practice in themselves. And barely if they can survive or if they can practice some of it, and some of it they could not. And that is silent stage. Basically, Islam is here, but it is silent. It is within the slaves themselves and can't do much, have no, basically, they are slave, has no choice to do anything or even to express the message, the Iman, the goodness that they have for themselves and for their host. But they didn't give a chance, they were not given a chance to share the goodness, the beauty, the fruit of the message they carried with them. That is the phase number one, and we call it the silent existence. The second phase is, and have that 1717 to 1870. That is the silent existence. The second phase is 1875 to 1940, where a different wave of migration arrived here. And so these are somehow have some freedom. Some of them, they were compelled to run tyranny and injustice and the scarcity of means of living over there. And they were here basically looking for any kind of life and survival that is way better than the place where they left. Whether this is from Greater Assam or from Yemen and then Arabia and then some Asians. And so these are coming just exploring. How can we retain the message for ourselves and sustain it? And also how we can materialistically survive and provide the mean and live. And so that is called the economic wave. So the first one was the the compulsion wave, where they were compelled to come. The message is basically kept buried in themselves, and they can't do much to share anything of it. The second one is once they come here and mainly laborers, they brought some benefit, economic benefits, but also economically they were able to survive. But the message is still silent. Silent means it's not being shared or expressed or influencing, has no influence on the surrounding. All of it struggling to survive and maintain it in a daily life. The third wave is basically 1967 until now, where uh, the educated wave of immigrants came around here. And that is represent a turning point in the journey of Islam into this country. Now, so that is the four main waves led to uh, to the present. Now, when Muslims were stable, established, able to uh, assert themselves and their existence as a Muslims for themselves, and for those who are willing to share, they share the message and the fruit and the beauty of the message they have. What happened? They realize at the beginning of the present that they cannot survive if they just isolate themselves, build masjid and madrasa and practice Jum'ah and Eid and do all of these. The dynamic of the society and the politics and economy and the tanglement between internal affairs and international affairs, all of these brought a indirect pressure on Muslims to look for some more than just exist. That is, it's called really shock. Uh, if you are not, if you are not engaged, if you are not participating, if you are not running in politics, voting, securing some rights that are provided in the society for everybody, found themselves Muslim, they have to. It was not planned, it was not in their mind, it was not intentional, but they get the shock that you have to go and vote, you have to go and participate, to engage, and to interact with the society around you. And that is what we call it the voice start to be heard. The voice of the message of Islam and its truth is start to be heard locally at least and spread in a smooth way, in a basically pace different from one place to another, from one person to another, from one front to another. And then once they start getting forcefully to be engaged, especially interaction and election and voting and media and other civil activities and pressures, they found a strain or tension between two things. Tension between the values of ethics, morality, and the practice of the deed. And the other end is the interest, the means of living. See, I want to pray Jum'ah, but I want to keep the job. And that tension basically is really the second strong shock to the Muslims to find different way, to find means, to find avenues where they can extend their existence and multiply their voice and move a little bit higher in their existence. And that basically force Muslims to understand the culture, the system, the economy, the politics, the dynamics of the whole society. And instead of we're just retrieving what they brought with them, practice it and sustain it and maintain it. The next phase once they are start learning and interacting and somehow sharing some good message and good behaviors, manners, basically noticed by the society, and they become basically noticed that they are good and carry a good things with them, especially when Ramadan comes, when Eid comes, when some of these social activities comes, made the Muslims visible as a message carrier, not an immigrant, not a student, not looking for survival and for basically sustaining whatever themselves, whatever they have for themselves. And that is really start with the Gulf War, where Muslims found themselves in dilemma. What can we do? Where we stand? Either we scream and call for freedom and justice and stop the war and all these things, or just keep quiet and you never know this wave is going to end doing what to us. And that is basically 2000, where that another strong turning point forced Muslims to work in an organized way. And that is a peak. And that is something great achievement and great turning toward becoming positive force and not only for themselves, for the total society. Then after that, um, they have to create an equation. How we are going to manage all these elements, whether, as we said, international affairs or sharing the message here or prospering religiously, Islamic school and centers and organizations and conferences, media and politics and election and campaign and polarization. All of this basically came after the Gulf War. And so, where with the organized work, they found themselves they have to be part of the machine of decision making. You have to not just vote, they have to nominate, to win election, to campaign, to draft vision that is Muslim, but is American too, and to tell the people that we have the capacity to solve those problems, that in local communities, Muslims is now have to articulate and build an argument and sell it just like anybody else. And that is to be basically rooted in Islam. The person is basically a Muslim. It doesn't matter whether they are really so much practicing or not. They always identify themselves as a Muslims, and that is basically bring the attention, the perception of the society. This is coming from Islam. Not human being is human being anywhere. What good they have is coming or rooted in the religion of Islam. And that basically provide Muslims with real protection. Now, they were very mainly invite the candidate non-Muslims to the center, to the masjid, and make a deal with them. We'll collect donation and we'll help you, we'll support you, we'll vote for you. Can you do this for us? Can you do this for us? That is not anymore. By this phase, we are going to the walking men who protect not just us, our local community, and serve and provide for for the affairs of the ummah altogether. So there were basically many fronts emerged from this, and as we know, the politics were the pioneer, the education, the Islamic centers, the civic engagement, the campaigning and voting, the articulating the views and the theory and the models that Muslim bring, and also the media and pioneers in the media also have made a great advancement. Now, the here another turning point where there are fronts basically advancing and moving in a in a pace that is really great. There are fronts and avenues that they are stepping back or staying where they were, or they are consumed with the basic practice and basic affairs. The one that is advanced in a very high pace is the media, and I said the women, the youth, the politicians in election and representation, and also the hijab become visible, become center of Muslim women in the society. And we have seen hijabi in many places officially, in banks, in media, in even courts. There are judges in many places with their Islamic dress, and women too. Um, Now, at this phase of flourishing, uh, basically they were able to attract the local attention. And definitely the media and all those classical politician Americans, they're just on the road to pick up something and throw it in the face in the way of the Muslims. Whether the zero masjid or the masjid over there campaign against zoning and building masjid and banning whatever they call it Sharia law, and basically distorting them image and basically resisting and fighting back. They don't want this progress to move on. They have to put obstacles to contain it, to divert it, to weaken it as possible. And all of these are the hypocrites. The hypocrites in the church or in politics, or what we used to know, the interfaith. Now, these last 2 years, it almost doesn't exist anymore. They don't come, they don't call, we don't want to hold hands, we don't want to sit together, not at all, because of the issue of Gaza. So they basically left. They stayed alone, they stayed away, no more activities. It used to be so intense, and it definitely draw and drain resources. And Muslims basically they felt in that trap, which basically ended up doing nothing, absolutely achieving absolutely nothing. They were using Muslims and Muslims thinking these are good vehicles to have our voice heard, or maybe we can, in common ground, rally about something. But the split comes with Gaza. Okay, well, we have our way, you have your way. You are seeing the world differently than us, and there is really nothing in common anymore. You can pursue your agenda, and we are going to pursue our agenda, because this is not common views for us and you people of interfaith. Also, the media, I mean, we're focused day and night by all means and ways to smear Islam and Muslims with everything little bad here and bad person here, bad action here, bad news here, and magnify it and multiply it and basically inject it, infuse it in the mind of the public. With the grace of Allah, it did not achieve a single objective. Never affected negatively to the perception of the public about Islam and Muslims. All of these billions and billions in medias and programs and experts and commentary, all of these, they have done the biggest battle, and ended up they spend their money and regretting Muslims is advancing beyond imagination, beyond plan, beyond their machine of wars. And so now we can see also the masjids almost like the expression is like a slowdown. Is to be, I mean, just masjid in every corner, and every week, every month, in every city, and just a spread. Now there are probably 3,000 or 3,500, and this has been like that for a while, at least for 5, 6 years. Not much progress is coming, even constructing, just building. Schools, it's almost frozen. It drains resources, and people basically see the outcome less than expected. Um, in when you compare to the price is being paid, it's not they are giving up or changing or finding another way, but it is the outcome really very modest in comparison to the price. And also, it was expected from those graduates from this Islamic school to become the leaders on all fronts, whether in media or in masjid or centers or conferences or politicians or economy or lawyers. All the outcome, modest result. It's not zero. It's great. It is good. It is basically providing seeds, but the expectations are not met. So we are here now. We can see some fronts are moving forward and have the greatest potential to reach flourishing. Some areas basically left behind. Look at the last report about the National Convention of ISNA. Only 20,000 showed up. I mean, it's now, this is the 60 something conference, and used to be 50,000, 60,000, maybe some more than that. Not anymore. People don't find that much in it. It's just good, good turn to socialize, to interact, to explore Muslims in other community where they do, but they don't have concrete steps for progress. Where are you going? Fine, conference and shop and center and selling and buying and books and classes and lecture and workshop, but it is just basically recycling the same things, and that's why it is big change from 50,000 to 20,000. The last conference, there is a turning point, and same other organizations like IGNA and all other major or MAS or all other major organizations, they now have to think of different strategy to keep up. The society is moving without them if they are unwilling to move. Also, uh, Muslims realize the importance of education and believe in the critical role of education, whether Islamic school education in the centers or education in training or education in something called institutes. There are many institutes basically emerged faster than masjid before. I can't, at least 50 institute religious with name, Arabic name, Islamic names, and sadly, they are not on the same page. They are not a civilization institution. They are basically reproducing the same mentality of back home. Not They are out of touch of the reality and the need of the Muslims and the need of the society and the future that is waiting for the Muslims in this community. And you name it, those institutions are here. Um, some even colleges. They are going totally different route. They are creating kind of isolation. You want to be a Muslim, you better be keeping distance from the society and protective attitude toward yourself and what you think is valuable wrongly. And so it is right now, it is time for Muslims to start designing the path from here on. Doors all open, potential is there, hope is there, acceptance is there. The environment is really ripe to harvest. Just get yourself, produce yourself, introduce yourself, and you will find everybody is following you. The internal politics of America has created distrust, void. The politicians, they are, most of them, immoral. They do not follow through what they promise and commit. And so skepticism is their wave among the American, and they are willing and waiting for hearing a different voice, a different echoes, a different candidate, a different brand of leaders in all aspects. And fortunately, we are also not even started with education, but public education in crisis. And they need teachers, they need curriculums, they need models, they need all of these things, the public education, and resources are there. Muslims have not even started to to cultivate Muslim teachers and send them to the public school. You serve the society and the community, you fill up the gap, you play the role, and you don't have to do anything. They are going to rediscover themselves. It is rooted in Islam. That is a front, must be advanced long time ago, but it is not. Is not being even paid attention. What we need to have system to graduate teacher for public school, certified. Everybody has a degree. Go and take the state certification to be a public teacher and go. And also you can find a job too and some benefits too. The other front that is basically falling behind is the dawah. The dawah is supposed to be the front burner, where we are here for message. We are here for sharing the beauty and the fruit of this deen, and it was meant for the existing society. It was meant to basically present it, make it accessible, and let people decide what they want to. Uh, uh, Unfortunately, that is only the people who discover the deen by themselves. Majority of revert basically have struggled in the society, American society, struggled to learn where to go. And some of them, they went and studied all kind of faith, from Buddhism to the atheism to meditation, and then finally they landed as Muslims. We are big number, a lot of resources, a lot of centers, a lot of speakers, a lot of conferences, a lot of scholars, a lot of activities. But this front, basically, we are failing it, and we need to pay attention to it. So I am confident that the future, the Muslims heading toward flourishing for themselves and for the society, but still the haphazards, the individualism, the internal problems, and the less organized resources, less organized in articulating the vision and the view, and the media and propagating that. That is another front needs to be strengthened, and basically literature is need to be available. Literature in all these areas, it got to be available, disseminated, but also well prepared, well designed, well articulated, well printed, and basically put in the access in the public arena. والله أعلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.